Welcome back to the End Zone, presented by TiVo on your TiVo DVR via TiVocast and on CBSSports.com. Alongside Ian Eagle, I'm Jason Horowitz. Glad to be with you here in New York every single week. Randy Cross is with us for the majority of the show every week in Atlanta. And this week, or this segment, all about the must-wins, the desperations for a couple of teams. And you don't have to look any further than the Sunday night game with Denver hosting Pittsburgh. The Broncos both teams off a bye week, but the Broncos have lost 3 straight and coming off their worst home loss in more than 40 years. And they're in disarray right now.
A lot of disappointments around the NFL, Jason, and I think Denver is going to rank right up there because of the expectation level. You figured Jay Cutler in year 2 development would be there under Mike Shanahan. Travis Henry would give them the credibility in the running game. Defensively, there have been issues for this team. Off the field right now with Henry is certainly a main point of concern. And Randy, with Mike Shanahan and company, this is a pivotal week. You hate to say must win at this juncture. You have to, at the very least, say you've got to see some progress. You've got to see some improvement from this Denver team if they have any chance of turning this thing around.
Well, absolutely, Ian. And I saw a tough, smart, physical Jacksonville team go in there a few weeks back and just throttle Denver. They have got to stop the run. It's something they haven't done. They almost have a better chance of going out and getting a few of those big orange cones and barrels that they use on the highways and just hope that Willie Parker goes around those instead of running through the defense so that they have of stopping these guys. I think this is pretty bleak time for the Denver Broncos.
Randy, can you fix that at this point in the season? I know they had a bye week, but this is a team that's got 2 shutdown corners. Passing is not an option on the offense, at least the first option. But you've got Pittsburgh, a team that you know is going to run the football, and you're going up against a defense that is close to dead last in the NFL against the run. You've had a bye week. Is that something that heading into Week 7 as a team you can actually fix, that we are going to be that much better against the run?
Well, you can be more proficient in getting in the right gap. You can be more proficient in making tackles. Time off doesn't increase your ability to want to. And in a lot of cases, it's come down to a case of want to, I think, for the Denver Broncos. They're trying hard. They're just not getting in the right spots. And if you're a Bronco fan, you sure got to hope that time off will give you that. I think another thing you're going to have to really root for pretty hard is that your quarterback, Jay Cutler, stays kind of conservative, stays within the offense, and doesn't put that ball up for grabs. Because if you know anything about Pittsburgh, you know that this is a very opportunistic back 7. And they will take advantage of every mistake you give them.
And they get Troy Polamalu back this week as well off the bye week. He's healthy, so that'll help as well. Chicago, Philadelphia, another one, Ian, that is just up in the air.
Yeah, the Bears, tough to figure out. They make the change at quarterback, Brian Griese. The offense is improved. They can't stop anybody, and that's probably the most alarming part of this 07 season. The Super Bowl letdown, post-Super Bowl letdown, certainly has affected them, and I don't know if they can really right the ship. They might win this game against Philadelphia, but long-term, I don't see Chicago turning things around. Philadelphia, do you feel good about a win over the Jets? Do you feel like all is right in the world for the Eagles? Not necessarily. Pivotal game for them as well, Randy. One of these two teams will come out maybe feeling a little bit better about themselves as far as postseason hopes and dreams. I think Philly's got more of a chance than Chicago this stage of the game. They're just decimated by injuries right now.
Yeah, to me, Philly is still very much a class, top-notch organization, and the football team has got the ability to be in the same position. I'm a big fan personally of Andy Reid. I think McNabb's best football is definitely in front of him. I just think they need to get back to basics. You can't complain about an ugly win. I don't care how bad the Jets might be. They need to get every win they can get, and against a team like this, they need to just make it kind of like what Pittsburgh has to do going into Denver. They need to be a very smart, very physical football team, and it sounds funny to say that about an opponent of the Chicago Bears, but I think they can physically win this game and take the Bears out of it.
2 notes on that game. I really liked what Alex Brown said this week about the fact that everyone has been talking about his offense. He said, stop talking about our offense. Why don't you start talking about our defense is the main problem, because we are not playing good football. The other point here is, and if you're a Philly fan, you know this, you've got 2 wins, but one of those was against Detroit and you scored 56. If you look at the other 4 games, because they're 2-3, they have just 2 touchdowns. So I know, Randy, you hit on the fact that you don't mind winning ugly, But that's really ugly. 2 touchdowns in 4 games.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's extremely ugly. But if your defense can make it work, make it work. We complained early last year about Indianapolis or the year before also not scoring enough points early. I think McNabb and that offense have the ability to produce points. I just think there's just something, a lot of these teams we're talking about, whether it's the Bears or the Eagles or the Broncos or the Jets or the Bengals, whoever, there's just something missing right now. And a couple of them, they're going to find whatever it is. The rest of them, we're talking top 10 pick.
Yeah, one other desperation game, and you will be calling this one. It's the Jets in Cincinnati. How does that go down?
2 teams that can just look themselves basically in a mirror and recognize they're in the same boat. They are up a creek. I think that's a nice way to put it. A Jets win, I don't think it changes anything, unfortunately, for them. Cincinnati win, maybe some false sense of security, but I don't see either team doing much damage when it's all said and done.
You look in the mirror and you see the exact same thing as you said, because neither team can play defense, and that's how you win in this league. You have to have some type of defense, and the Colts learned that last year when they went into the playoffs. They got the defense. They won the Super Bowl. Randy, thanks for being with us. As always, we will talk to you next week, and have safe travels to your game.
Thank you very much.
Folks, the End Zone presented by TiVo continues. We will be back on CBSSports.com and on your TiVo DVR via TiVo Cast, including we'll revisit our picks from the early part of the season. We'll see if Ian and I want to make any changes from the early part of the year.
We're allowed to?
I know I do. Yeah. Got to make some changes.